Hello, friends, and welcome back to Virtual Strangers, number 12. Wow. Welcome to Virtual Strangers 12, friends. I am your host, Wes. With me, as always, Roots and Alex, and we are here to break down this jam packed week full of VR news. Uh, E3, as predicted, the news came fast and furious from it. Um, a stark difference to last year's E3. When I think back, can you remember all the stuff we learned last year on E3? If their answer is no, there's a reason for that because there wasn't much of it. This year, orders of magnitude larger than last year. We had the E3, the Upload VR special that came on. Um, to be honest, I'd say 90% of our subject matter this week coming from the Upload special, just jam packed. That said, we're not going to cover every single game that was in it. To do that would take 5 hours or more probably. There was so much stuff in there, so we're basically just going to pick and choose the things we find interesting and talk about them. That said, peeling the curtain back a little bit here, the host decides the subject matter of the show. So, first game we're going to talk about is what I want to talk about. And what do I want to talk about? Dance Central.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to talk about Dance Central. 6 new tracks.
Yay. Oh, yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
A fitness app.
We're going to do a bit of dancing on that DLC, aren't we, mate? Yeah.
So excited. No, we're going to talk about my favorite game of all time, The Walking Dead Onslaught. Onslaught from Servios. We got the Upload E3 special had a feature on this. We've got some gameplay footage finally. For the first time, we're seeing what this game really looks like, and there was developer interview as well. So we now know that the campaign gameplay is going to feature kind of generic characters, not characters from the show, characters that are exclusive to the game, and however, the iconic weapons from the show are going to be linked to your character. And as you play through the campaign mode of this game, you're going to be able to level up your character. So there is a character progression as you go. Roots, I know you said when we talked about this game before that you hoped that the action would be fast and furious. And as we can see from the footage here, most of these scenarios are herd scenarios, like we speculated it would be, where we've got these walkers coming from all directions, and you're basically just fighting to survive. Was this what you were talking about? Is this what you were looking for from this game?
Oh, absolutely. I've heard a lot of people saying that, oh, it doesn't look that good or they're disappointed with the way it looks. I see right at the bottom, it says pre-alpha footage. I'm assuming the zombies are going to look a lot better. I think the game mechanics look really tight, and I like the pace of these zombies. One thing that strikes me, I just like the fact when that guy grabs the zombie's neck, and he's like kind of moving his head around and he stabs his head. You've seen that in The Walking Dead so many times. This looks like it's actually got a lot of potential. And being that it's Servios and this is pre-alpha footage, I can't wait to see the actual game for sure.
Yeah, I think that's important to note that this is pre-alpha footage. You can tell that it's very choppy. They've got the frame rate turned down on it so that they can show some halfway playable footage here. So I'm sure, knowing Servios, it's going to run like butter when it comes out. And what you're talking about there with the guy grabbing the zombie, and right here, this I think is what you were referring to. This is what they're calling progressive dismemberment technology. This is their melee mechanic, which allows you to, when you're using a melee weapon like a knife or a crowbar or something, it's going to allow you to get creative with the way that you mutilate these things. And honestly, the one thing that's sticking out to me about this footage more than anything is the almost cartoonish level of blood that's coming out of these things. when you shoot them. Um, Alex, your melee is something that's hard for developers to get just right in VR. It seems to vary vastly from game to game, and it looks like this one isn't going to be any different. Do you think that the melee fighting in this game and the progressive dismemberment technology is going to be something that lives up to the standard set by the Walking Dead television show?
Yeah, I mean, this footage, when I first saw it, I was kind of like a lot of people, a little bit disappointed with it, but it's Servio, so like you said, it's pre-alpha, so I'm not taking too much stock in this, obviously being how it's going to be in the final game. Yeah, it's difficult because the footage it looks cool, but it doesn't look, wow, this is amazing cool. So it just worried me a little bit because what I don't want is just another, let's just throw millions of zombies, give you loads of weapons, and you just kill them, massacre them, sort of type of thing. I was hoping for something a bit more survivally, where you're having to run, hide, sometimes fight, fly, that sort of thing. And in the trailer you can see they've got freaking assault rifles and all sorts. So it's kind of like goes against that. If they're going to give you full automatic assault rifles and shotguns, and it's going to depend on how much ammo they give you, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe they were just trying to showcase the melee and the combat in this particular footage. But yeah, it's Servio, so I'm not really too worried. I'll wait until we see more. Is this August? This one? This is not. Is it autumn? This one? Fall?
I think it said fall. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
we've got a few months left. So
yeah.
yeah.
And if I had to be critical of anything about this footage, it is just that the only scenario that they're showing us here is a herd scenario. It makes me wonder if this is from a campaign session, or is this from the supply run mode?
Mm-hmm.
They're describing a game to us that is a survival game that does have a story. I mean, you have a progressive leveling for your characters. So I would have liked to have seen some of that, some more of that aspect of the game. But overall, I'm still just as hype as ever, if not maybe more so than I was before. Can't wait to get my hands on this one.
One thing I will note, I'm looking at the footage here, and pretty much throughout the entire thing, I don't think I saw one zombie that looked the same as another. So that's cool. That was one of my biggest gripes about Arizona Sunshine. As cool as it was like you see the same skins, and talk about immersion breaker. Like, oh, didn't I just kill that guy? Oh, there he is again. There he is again.
Yeah, it's a problem with all video games. I think there's always going to be some sort of repetition.
But
when you've got hordes of zombies, I mean,
when AI takes up over, which is pretty close, they're already having AI composite two different picture of people that don't even exist, that people look at them and they're like, oh my God, you think it's a real picture, and it's an actually generated by a computer. So I'm pretty sure at some point, all games will just be phenomenally random,
Yeah, there's the text there for it. It's just obviously implementing it with 3D models and making sure they haven't got too many polygons and all that sort of stuff. So it's more complicated than just merging two images together or something. But yeah, it's definitely something that will be possible in the future, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's more of a cost thing now. That tech's available, but I'm sure it's crazy expensive, the hardware to run stuff like that. Over time, as the hardware advances, the prices fall, and thus is the nature of technology.
Yep.
Anything else on The Walking Dead?
Just excited.
I'm sure we'll find out more in the coming months. So
yeah, they did. One more thing they did say is during the upload special, the developer announced this for PC. Basically, it said it was coming to arcades and it was coming to PC. So the PSVR community got a little scared about it, but later during the Kind of Funny Games special with Greg Miller, they did announce PSVR support for this game. I don't know if it's going to be day one. I don't normally games take a little bit longer to get through the Sony store than it does to get through Steam or Oculus. But never fear, PSVR gamers. This game is coming at some point. All right. So while we're on the topic of Survios, might as well mention that we did get another look at Battlewake, and of course, Battlewake from Survios is this pirate. I don't know how to really describe it. It's kind of a multiplayer pirate battle, I guess you would say. And we got some more gameplay footage of it. You know, I was excited for this game before just because it was a new game from Survios, but I wasn't like super pumped, going to for sure go out buy it day one. But now looking at this new footage, man, this game looks really good. They said it was based on the sprint vector movement system, which kind of makes sense. The way that the sprint vector characters drift laterally makes a lot of sense for a game on water to have similar movement. So that's super cool. It's really smooth, and you don't really feel it in your stomach like you think you would playing a game like that. So kudos to Survios for that. Says there will be a campaign mode as well as a co-op mode, and the co-op mode is still a campaign, and it has a progressive difficulty to it. So as you go on, the game gets more difficult. And as always, they're really pushing for participation in their closed beta. You can go to their website and apply for a spot in the closed beta, and it seems like something that they really want people to take part in, so that they can work out any bugs that may be in this game before it comes before it's released. Alex, are you going to participate in the beta?
No. I don't. I just tend to. It's like you've said before. It's kind of like you've got a responsibility. You've got to put in the work, to put in the time, to look at it in a different way. Whereas I'd rather just go into it as a gamer, just being able to just play it, for fun, rather than having to worry about, oh, does this need improving, making suggestions, putting things on Discords and things. So, yeah, and I'm not the type just to play it just for the sake of playing it, just so I can try it out. I'd rather wait for the finished product and play it when it's done and it's released. So no, I won't be trying it. One thing that's going to be interesting to see is how they handle the boat moving. Is it going to move like if you've got a big wave? Is the boat going to move? Is it going to rock? Or because obviously you've got motion sickness issues with any sort of movement of the boat on this kind of rocking side to side. So are they going to dumb it down a bit too much? Maybe are they going to give options for this? I don't know.
Yeah, it's an interesting question, especially with it being confirmed for PlayStation VR. Sony's pretty heavy with their requirements for comfort options, so that's a good point and something for us to definitely watch out for. So you're not going to participate in the closed beta, which isn't really a surprise. You don't like to play early access games in general, let alone betas. What about you, Roots? This game, is it calling to you? Are you going to try to get early access to it?
I put it in for it. I don't know that I've got a key, so I need to check again. It's been a while. Like as soon as it was first announced, I put in for the key. I'm the opposite of Alex. I want to go in. I want to check it out, just to check it out. And I don't know that, this is going to sound bad, but I may or may not be sending any tips or anything I find. It's pretty much selfish, but I guess not so much, because now that we're doing this, it'd be interesting to be able to talk about what we've seen and so forth.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really psyched for this game. I love Sea of Thieves, and I wish I could play the legit Sea of Thieves in VR. The actual game would be my dream. And I know this is going to be so much different than it. You don't get to walk around and get off the boat and all that stuff. But this looks like it has so much action, and visually it looks very stunning. So, and of course, like we always say, as we become Servios fanboys, no, just kidding. But they seem to know what they're doing with every single game they come out, and they blow me away. So I am psyched for this for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Kudos to them too for reinventing themselves. Every time they put out a game, it's like they're in a different genre than the last one. And yeah, this one looking to have that level of polish that they're known for. Yeah, my hype level definitely went up after seeing the new footage. I think that I may enjoy this a little more than I had originally thought. Anything else on Battle Wake?
Nope.
All right, on to the next one. The next one really was a surprise for me. A game that I'd heard about a long time ago and knew was coming, but didn't have any idea how cool this thing is actually going to be. And that's Espire 1. And like I said, that they've been teasing this game for a long time. It just looked like another basic FPS from the early footage. But now, looking at this thing, man, does this look cool. So this is a first-person shooter game. It's a stealth shooter in the vein of Metal Gear Solid. You know that it's not fast and furious action. You're trying to get in and get out unnoticed, kill guys from behind, that sort of thing. It's announced for all major VR platforms, including PlayStation VR and the Quest. And they said that the gameplay on these platforms will be 1-to-1. So basically, that's code speak for them saying that the graphics are going to be dumbed down. When they start talking about how perfect the gameplay is going to port, that means everything else is going to take a hit. But that's to be expected. So no big surprises there. It says that you're going to play as a cyborg character with all kinds of cool abilities. You're going to have magnets in your hands so that you can climb metal surfaces. And yeah, very awesome. Looks like there's campaign gameplay, each campaign 30 to 80 minutes long. And yeah, super cool. Roots, you looking forward to this one?
Oh, hell yeah. I was just thinking of what we were saying, how the other day between us and Discord about how this year is the year for VR. It's just like, I see games like this, and it's a year ago, I wouldn't have thought we would be at this point already. And I know we all are impatient, but man, this thing looks legit. And as they were describing this, just everything that, they're actually bringing in all the things that we love about flat games, as far as all the extras and game by game. So I'm really psyched to see this and play through it for sure.
Yeah, I am too, and I didn't expect it. I thought this was going to be just another run-of-the-mill game, and turns out it's going to be something more. Says it's going to have challenges and leaderboards as well. So if you're into that sort of thing, playing against your friends, and also, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, with the challenges, they've not really been clear about what they are. I think they've said there's going to be 200 challenges and some sort of sandbox mode where you can just go around, probably just a big environment, and choose how to, stealth kill people or whatever. So I don't know if these challenges are going to be part of the campaign where you replay missions, or they're going to be separate challenges, or they're going to be part of the sandbox mode. So I'm not really sure about that side of things. But this has actually been in development for a while, because I remember seeing this, I think it was like early 2017 or something. So it's been a good couple of years that I saw it, some early demos of it, and it looked really cool then. But they've obviously got the backing of Tripwire, who made Killing Floor Incursion, and I think they've helped them a lot with the development, and they've definitely moved on in terms of production value and graphics and everything. So yeah, this game is definitely one of the top games coming out, and it's actually, is it August, I think, where's this is confirmed for?
Yeah, another one of our jam-packed fall releases that are coming.
That's summer.
August. Oh, I think of August as fall. You're right. That's summer.
Yeah.
Technically, August is summer, but it's late summer. So yeah, August for this one. Something else that they were very keen on promoting is the motion sickness technology in this game. They supposedly have some kind of new system that's really effective in preventing motion sickness. So definitely awesome. Definitely looking forward to this one. You guys have anything else on Espire 1?
No, I mean, it just looks really cool. You can tell someone to freeze, and then they'll actually freeze, and
Isn't there audio? You can actually say it. Is that what you're saying? I can't
yeah,
remember.
that's what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, you can come up behind someone and actually physically say freeze. I'm sure they'll add other things in there as well, but just the interactions as well. Like you saw him like basically smack a guy down with a shotgun and then blast another guy. So I think they could just this slow motion. You can trigger slow motion because you're actually playing some sort of droid. So you're like controlling a droid in virtual reality. So it's kind of meta in a way. And then obviously, like you guys said, you've got these gloves which let you any metal surface, which I think is a good idea. Rather than you letting you climb any surface, they can plan the level around you, having certain scenarios where you can go up certain walls, but not other walls and things. That could be cool. So, yeah, this is up there on my list of what's coming out and wanting to play it, and it's only coming out in a couple of months, so we haven't got long to wait.
It's a sign marker for all the indie devs to step it up. Not being rude, but I mean it's just like we always say, games that people developers saw a game in 2016 and said, oh, I can do this, and then they release in 2019 and they're so far behind the curve because it took 3 years to get that game out that now is way not what everybody's looking for. It's just we're really pushing. Their devs are starting to push the boundaries, and I'm excited. So,
yeah, I agree. This game is a perfect example of what's happening all around VR right now. We're starting to see new concepts and features in games that we've never seen before. And as we go through the list of games that we're talking about here today, you're going to see more of this sort of thing. New features, unique gameplay that people are thinking of. Finally, the developers have had some time in the hardware, and now they're starting to tap into their creativity and give us things that were never possible before on flat games. So this is a good example of that. I really like the thing with being able to climb metal surfaces. I think that could end up being something that becomes really cool and really useful when they're creating a map for one of these style games. And I really, really look forward to this. I completely agree with you guys. This is up toward the top of my list now. And a week ago, it was just another blip on the radar. Mm-hmm. All right, so nothing else about Espire 1. We're going to go ahead and move on. All right, so the next game we're going to talk about is a game we've been waiting for quite some time. Oculus exclusive, one of the most anticipated games in all of VR right now, Asgard's Wrath. And unlike a lot of people, I've been avoiding footage. There's a lot of gameplay out there already of this game, but I'm like Roots. I don't really watch that stuff when it comes up. I might watch a minute or two of it just to get an idea of what the graphics look like and then just turn it off. So this is really the first time that I've given a real hard look at what Asgard's Wrath is and what it's going to be. And man, does this game look awesome. So it's based on Norse mythology, kind of like Hellblade. When you go through Hellblade, they read off these stories to you. It's the same set of lore. It's Norse mythology. You play as a god in training, they say. So you're kind of like a man with godlike abilities, I would assume. The puzzle gameplay is based on creation of human animal hybrids. You make like these chimera creatures, and the puzzles in this game apparently are going to work by manipulating them to do your bidding, kill enemies, move items, and apparently even later as you progress later in the game, you employ more of these creatures to do your bidding. So you may, as the puzzle difficulty steps up, you may have to use 2 or 3 of them simultaneously to solve it. Roots, I know you're a big fan of puzzle games. What did you think about Asgard's Wrath?
Like you, I've been avoiding it for obvious reasons, and I just watching it back now, I'm blown away again. It's so it reminds me a lot of World of Warcraft as far as like the orc and the tauren, and it's almost what I would imagine. Like, it just looks so cool. The gameplay looks cool. The graphics look amazing. I can't imagine playing this game, and I'm kind of jealous to Alex because I don't know exactly when this is releasing.
It's not
But
until autumn.
fall. So
Oh,
I might have my index. My index is ordered for August 31st, but like he's less than 3 weeks away from index goodness,
If
and
it works, I mean, it might not work because it's going to
well,
need revive.
yeah.
Rooch, you know that is summer.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's so close. So I'm excited to play it. And you're right, Alex. And maybe I'm banking on the fact that it's going to work on the index. But I maybe not. Either way, it's going to be amazing. It looks phenomenal, and that chick looks a lot like Hellblade almost. But everything about it, even this eagle guy, and just like you were saying, Wes, and the mechanics we've never seen before, and just everything about this game looks amazing. So
Yeah, the gameplay that they showed is very action oriented. It is melee combat, but it looks kind of arcadey. Like there's preset animations when you're fighting. It looks like kind of a hybrid. Like it's a little more controllable than a straight like third person hack and slash game, but it's not so free flowing and loose that you'll encounter a lot of the awkwardness that you get in melee games. It looks like they added just enough animation into it to make it smooth instead of choppy. What do you think about the gameplay, Alex? The action fighting aspect of it?
This game is like top of my list. I have seen some more footage that you guys probably have avoided, and the game looks absolutely stunning. I mean, it looks like one of the best looking VR games. It's AAA quality. But then I have seen some. We're showing the old original trailer at the moment, but we did see some of the footage on this E3 showcase that worried me a little bit. Just what you were mentioning was about the arcadey style to it. It's not that, because I've heard about a couple of people who've played this, and they've said that this combat's kind of a bit like quick timey, sort of where you've got to react to certain attacks and parry and then counter. But they've said that it's really difficult and it feels quite nuanced, where you're going to have to learn how to play the game and defeat different characters, which I quite like. The thing that worries me is just the amount of glowing shit that they had on these guys. Every time you strike them, the entire body will glow blue, or parts of the body will glow blue. I hope that you can turn that off in the options, because I don't want all that stuff. I want to be able to just fight, and just like in the trailer we're watching now, where you just see them die, rather than having shit shine all the time. And then when Jeremy was from Tested was talking about it, he said that they've got like teleportation in where you walk up some stairs and you grab the banister and you teleport to the bottom of the stairs, rather than being able to walk down the stairs. Or if you've got a rope, you press the bottom of the rope and then you're at the top of the rope, rather than be able to climb up. So I understand why they've got that in there, but I hope that they're optional, where you can turn it off and actually physically climb, or physically just walk down the stairs. All that stuff's fine. It's just give us the options to turn it off, because I don't want all that hand holding. I don't want all the shit glowing and stuff. I want to be able to get rid of the HUD. I don't want any sort of HUD or any stuff popping up. So that's my main concern. But other than that, 30 hours plus massive epics adventure game. Yeah, I mean this game looks awesome. So other than the other thing I've just said.
Unheard of for VR to have a game of this quality be 30 plus hours. I mean, we've got Skyrim, which was a port, but Skyrim has a lot of problems that you're going to assume that we're not going to have in this one, being made for VR from the ground up. Summer Funland has that same deal too, where you walk to the staircase and then press a button and teleport to the top. And
Yeah.
you're right, it's very immersion breaking. So I hope that that's not the case here, but You know,
And apparently, Jeremy did say to the devs, give us the option. So hopefully they'll take his feedback on board because it's not coming out until the end of the year. I don't think we'll see this till probably November, and back end of the year. So we've got like probably 5-6 months before we see this one. So
yeah, and as far as the glowing thing goes, that doesn't really bother me. I mean, maybe it will after I get the headset on, but if you're playing as a god with like magical power and stuff, I can deal with enemies having auras and stuff. The one thing in the footage I saw that did bother me was when they were talking about the human animal hybrids that you create. So you create these things, right? But they don't just automatically do your bidding. If you want them to serve you, you, the God that created them, in order to get them to serve you, you got to give them a fist bump. Well, that's kind of lame, right? Like, I
and you
am
can give him the thumbs
I am
up
the
as well.
Lord thy God. Bump me, bro. You know, come on. We
Yeah.
don't need that.
You're like brah. Give me a fist
Yeah.
bump, brah.
I think you can high five too, though. Like, so let's be fair. It's
You can
not
give,
just a
you can
fist
give
bump.
thumbs up and you can give them a fist bump. It's just an interactive way of doing, I suppose, within VR where it probably could be quite cool, when you've got this freaking half shark, half human stood in front of you and then he's like giving you a fist
Right.
bump. And,
Is it going to be a proper fist bump though? I want a proper one. So
That just seems cheesy to me. You're back in the olden times, way
I think
back when.
they're just having fun with it, I think so.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure that that's the intention. It just seems cheesy to me. But everyone's different. What bothers me is not going to bother you, and what bothers you is not
You
going to
mean you don't walk around fist bumping everyone?
bother me. I don't know. We'll see.
or the better question is, do you fist bump God? Because I do.
Right.
Because
Right.
otherwise, I won't acknowledge him if he doesn't fist bump me first.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a little weird.
Yeah. It's strange, right?
Mhm.
Bow before me. After we bump me, bro. All right. So enough of Asgard's rat there. They did. Speaking of Oculus exclusives, we did get a couple of tidbits about Lone Echo 2. Not much, but we did get a small amount of information here. Apparently, the story and gameplay are going to be expanded. So this is going to be a bigger game with a bigger story. It's going to be longer. The gameplay is going to be more nuanced, and they're going to be introducing new characters into the story. And apparently, these characters are going to be antagonists that are going to further reinforce the bond between Jack and Olivia. Basically, that's all they gave us was just a little bit about the story and the nature of the game. Did you guys, Alex? Did you hear anything else on Lone Echo 2
Yeah,
that I missed?
there's some footage they've put up showing some more gameplay. They've said it's going to be 50% longer, 50% bigger than the original Lone Echo, which took me a good 5-6 hours to play through. So you're talking, if that's true, probably a good 9 hour campaign. There's going to be more to the gameplay rather than just kind of just flipping switches and stuff. They're going to be puzzle elements. They've got these, in the original game, you had these biomass, which if you touched it, you died. Now they're going to be these floating ticks, which are going to be attracted to energy. So they come to you because you're a robot and you've got to avoid them. So you've got to find ways to distract them while you get past some kind of puzzle elements. And they showed a few different ways where they pull a crane around and it turns on some sort of electromagnetic thing and it comes up to it, and then so it looks like they're going to definitely expand it out. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be some sort of combat in there as well, because obviously we've got Echo Combat now with a little wrist gun. So I think it's going to be a lot more of a game, a lot more interesting, a lot more varied. They're going to have more NPCs in there as well, which are going to make it more interesting, because we only had like Olivia in the first game, and she's like the star of the show, really. So I think it's going to be better in every way. It is worth mentioning, this is now a 2020 game. It's been confirmed first quarter 2020, so it's not coming out this year, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, a game like this, I mean, the whole draw of the first one is the production value of it. It's the best part. Everything is so well done in it, audio, visually, the story, the sound. It really is like a top-notch AAA production. And if they're going to really be increasing it by 50% and adding, like I said, like you said, more nuanced gameplay, I can understand this taking a while to come together. I mean, this has got to be a feat of modern technology, you know, in gaming. For I imagine it's going to be as the first one was, unlike anything else.
The first one was also very successful. I think it was pretty much like if you looked at the top, 'cause Oculus don't give sales figures, but if you look at, they always have like the top four selling games of the week, and Lone Echo for a long time, like years, was always in that top four. Always, they never really put it on sale because they don't need to. So this game will have done well and made them some money. So yeah, I think they know that this is a big deal, and I think majority of people are going to buy this game who own Oculus or have an Oculus headset. So this game will sell, you know, in relative terms to VR well. So
Yeah, and it's actually saying something for this game to sell so many copies because it's a $40 game and it does not go on sale often.
no.
So for it to stay on top of the charts like that is a testament to just how good Lone Echo 1 is. Roots, did you catch any of this new footage? Are you pumped for Lone Echo 2?
Yeah, I'm glad it's coming out in November because I need to finish it. I spent like I think you and I were talking about, I spent like 2 hours in this game and didn't do anything. Like I did of some of the first part, but I never made it to the event, which people like Alex told me about. I ended up, I think I spent most of it groping her and hanging on her and messing with her and pissing her off. And so I need to finish the game before the game comes out. But yeah, it looks pretty good. So
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I haven't finished it either. I just spent a couple hours in it looking at everything and just saying, wow. Everything. Anything, look at it, wow. Because it's just so beautiful. It's so well done. The lighting and the textures and the sound. And I mean, probably the most realistic, lifelike character that I've seen in VR. I can't think of one, human character in VR that I've seen that looks more realistic than Levia does in this. And I haven't even checked it out in my Rift S yet. I imagine in that it's even going to be more stunning. So,
Actually, it's worthwhile you mentioned that. Something else I've just remembered. They did say that they've worked a lot on Liv and the way that she reacts to you in the game, so that when you things were a bit more scripted with her going places. Apparently now she's going to move around more freely. If you do certain things, she's going to react more to you as an entity. So it's going to be interesting to see how they actually evolve that, because it's quite a complex system. Obviously, they've got a lot of different AI paths and decisions to make, and it's not an easy thing to try and work into a game. So it'll be interesting to see how well they managed to integrate, because it was already pretty good in the first one, I thought. I mean, you could shine the torch in her face and she'd react to it. If you put your hand on her head, she'd ask you what the hell you're doing and stuff. So yeah, although you can grow up the ass and she don't give a shit. So.
She really doesn't like that light in her face. If you keep putting it in her face, she gets really pissed. So yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how far they can take it and how much you can do to. It's like Trover Saves the Universe. That game did that well, where you can kind of change the dialogue and do things to interrupt it and things. And I wonder if that's going to be the same with this, where if you've got two people talking and if you have another NPC, if you kind of come in and do something, they're gonna react to you and they're gonna be like, "What the fuck you doing?" sort of thing, and then just carry on, and it's gonna be seamless. And it's a difficult thing for a dev to work in. But it's definitely something that I'll be playing about with to see what I can do, how much I can piss her off. So.
You took the words out of my mouth. Trover Saves the Universe, although it's a different style game, is a perfect example of this, of the advancements that have come in the last year or two in AI with respect to video games. Artificial intelligence as a whole is probably the fastest growing research sector in digital technology, and the trend continues in games as well. And Trover is proof positive of that. So yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing how the interactivity of the characters has changed from launch era VR to mid. This is halftime of Gen 1. So definitely looking forward to that. Anything else regarding Lone Echo 2?
Nope.
All right. So we've been talking about these games, all these games that we already knew were coming to VR, but we got new information on. And there was another one that we just got some more info on yesterday or the day before, and that is SNPER Elite VR. And Alex was actually excited to talk about this one, so I'm just going to go ahead and throw it on over to him and let him tell us what he has found out.
Yeah, we just did. Well, the video we've got playing now is an interview with the developer, and they've just given a bit more information. We can redeem off what they said, and this is a game that we had it. It was kind of announced, but we didn't see any sort of gameplay footage, no screenshots, and I was thinking it was probably going to be more of a, stand in one place wave shooter almost in my mind. But we found out since that now it's going to be, have a single player campaign. You're going to have lots of options with movement, including free movement. For the PS4, PSVR, you're going to have aim support, move support, DualShock 4 support. With the PC, you can manually reload the gun with the bolt. It's not going to be automatic. The footage also shows the scope. The scope actually looks really good. It's something that's quite difficult to get in VR. I mean, I've played Onward and you can barely see through the scopes in Onward, and this looks really good with the way that you pull it up and it kind of zooms in, I think, a little bit and makes it bigger so you can see down the scope. They've also, something we mentioned, but they've actually got bullet time working. Apparently, they've managed to figure out a way to have you follow the bullet without you getting sick, and then I think you do like a third-person view where you watch the nut shot or whatever you're going to see. So yeah, this game's become a lot more than what I thought it was going to be, and it looks graphically, it looks great. Obviously this is a AAA developer that's making this game. I don't know how big the campaign's going to be, but we haven't actually seen any good single player sniper rifle game. Sniping in VR is really cool because obviously you've got to aim, pull your gun up and steady your aim. It's one of those things that completely changes the way you play it in VR and how you aim compared to flat screen where you're just using a mouse just to aim. So I'm surprised we haven't seen more of this, but at least now we're going to get a proper AAA version of it that we can all play on any platform. I don't know if this is coming with the Quest, but it's definitely coming PSVR and PC as well. So I'm definitely interested in this one more than I was before.
Yeah, I agree. This one was kind of flying off of my radar. I mean, I knew it was coming, but like you, I assumed it was going to be a stationary sniper game, kind of like something like The Perfect Sniper, only with good graphics. But apparently, no, you're going to have full locomotion and a story-based campaign that you move through. And I've never played Sniper Elite. I'm not familiar with these games, but the developer said that this is going to be just like Sniper Elite 4, but in VR. So whatever that means, it looks really cool. Naturally, in first-person shooters, I choose to be a sniper. If I have a choice of how to play, I'm not one that rushes headfirst into battle. I like to find a spot, hide, and take out the enemies from a distance. So this looks like a load of fun to me. Roots, are you familiar with the Sniper Elite series?
A little bit. I think it's cool that they're making that bold statement. For them to say that this is going to be just like Sniper Elite 4, but in VR. That's something I wouldn't imagine they would say unless that's going to be legit. Something that is true. I'm like Alex. I'm that scope. To me, scopes are the most frustrating thing in VR when I try to to use them because they usually look like shit, and I can't see through them. And so, like, I've played Standout and other games where I'll get a scope and I won't even use it because I just can't. It's hard to see, but it looks like they've really done a good job of making it very user friendly and very easy to see. Legit, like when you're using a sniper rifle, you're supposed to be able to see really well, right? Not okay, you can see that there's something there, but you can't because the scope's all fucked up. So I think and I will say that I'm almost tempted just by watching this. I almost want to get this on PlayStation because of my aim, because that looks like it's legit working very well, at least from the footage I'm seeing. He looks like it's very accurate.
Yeah, I agree. This is two-handed weapons. I was just talking to you guys about this the other day. Two-handed weapons feel odd in VR when you're using separate motion controllers, but this game looks like it's tailor-made for the aim. So yeah, I may be like you. I may be trying this one on PlayStation VR if there isn't some glaring, disadvantage to doing so. All right. Anything else?
No release date. No release date, but they have said, well, it says if you watch the end of this footage, it says coming soon, whatever that means, whatever soon is. But it's definitely this year. So I think summer. I think we'll see it in summer at some point. But another one for the list.
Yeah, another one for the long list of upcoming awesome VR games.
I will stress for all those people, and we all know a few of them that for some reason or another are drumming the notion that there are no VR games. Yeah, like I don't even know what to say because there's still legit people out there in Discords and stuff that will just
they're dying off, and eventually there's only an absolute freaking idiot's going to be able to say that at some point. After this year, especially for you to say there's no VR games when you at the end of this year when we know what's coming, you make yourself look like a moron. But we know who we're talking about, really, but we won't say any names.
Yeah.
I agree. What a difference a year makes, and I said it at the top of the show. Last year, coming out of E3, I was livid. I was so angry because there was nothing, man. There was just a few games. Like, at the time, I didn't even have PC VR. I was keeping up with it because I knew I was going to be getting into it. But I only had my PlayStation at the time. And all they gave us was like Tetris Effect and a couple more games. And man, I was mad for probably 4 or 5 days. And then I got depressed. It looked like VR may be dying. I mean, it really did. And this year, man, there's so much news and trailers and announcements, and people are still complaining and upset that it's not enough. And I'm just like, man, just think about the way it was to the way it is now. You can see that the growth is exponential with VR, and there's so many great games to look forward to. I think if people are upset now, it's just because they want to be upset. I really do.
People just need to understand that game development takes a long time. So, consumer VR has only been on the PC for 3 years and about 2.5 years on the PSVR. So, it can take a good 2 years for a AAA development team of 50 plus people to make a single game. So even if they started when VR just came out, that's why we're starting to see these games now, because they've been in development for probably 2 years, and we're starting to see them come out. And there's going to be games that are in development right now, which are going to be coming out next year, and games that have started development this year that will be coming out in 2021. So the games are coming. We've just got to have a bit of patience and realize that we are kind of in the infancy of this technology, and that the games take a lot of time to make. And it's difficult for new developers to make games for VR because it's so different to making even just things like getting the scale of things right in VR is more difficult than in a 2D game. So I think people just need to just relax a little bit and just understand that right now we've got plenty of games to play, but the smaller, more indie games maybe, and then you've got your exclusives. Well, that's going to change over time, and we're going to see more and more this year, next year, the year after that, especially when the PS5 comes out and the PSVR 2 comes out, and you know, it's all uphill, downhill, whichever way you want to look at it. So it's going in the right direction, whichever direction you want to look at it. So
So
That's it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, just basically for people, just chill the fuck out. You know, enjoy the games and stop bitching. You know.
Yesterday is today is much better than yesterday, and tomorrow is going to be much better than today.
That's right.
I bought my Rift last year in July. Do you know why?
nope.
Because E3 was in June, and I was so depressed that there wasn't going to be any games to play. That I had to go ahead and buy into PC VR just so that I would have the VR games to play over the next year, because PlayStation VR is just not ever going to have anything. And yeah, we see how different it is now, and it's going to continue to do so, especially with the new Oculus hardware that came out this year. They're going to be supporting it through the rest of the year, and Oculus is going to be giving PC VR a lot of great exclusives between now and Christmas. So, man, it's an awesome time to be a VR gamer, and yeah, I don't. If you're not elated with all the announcements and news, then I question your motivation. That's all. All right. So that's going to conclude the first segment of our show, which was about games we already knew about, just new info on games we already knew were coming. And how long did it take us to get through that? Almost an hour. So there's still tons and tons of news that we're going to report during our show. But what we're going to do during the next 2 or 3 segments, we're not going to talk about everything that I report here. We're just going to skim over a few of the announcements from the E3 week, and we may stop and touch on this or that. So first thing I want to talk about are some Oculus Quest games. We got a little bit of Quest news. We found out that Arizona Sunshine would be getting a Oculus Quest port, which is good. I like Arizona Sunshine's kind of my go-to game when I want to take the brand new VR player to the next level and teach them how to use free locomotion. Arizona Sunshine's the game I go to for that. So super pumped that Arizona Sunshine's coming to Quest because that is a device that's meant for new players. So Echo Arena coming to Quest. So very popular amongst competitive VR multiplayer groups. One of the original games that got league play in VR is now getting standalone wireless support. So definitely something for those people to look forward to. And the other piece of Oculus Quest news we got was a strange one. And this was coming from the First Contact Entertainment, the developers of Firewall Zero Hour, the AIM controller exclusive for PlayStation VR. A while back, they were streaming on YouTube some one of their guys playing Firewall, and maybe it was Frank, maybe it was Petrifying Pumpkins. I don't know. It was one of their guys, and one of the developers walked into the frame, and he was wearing an Oculus Quest, and Twitter exploded. Oh my God, are they bringing Firewall to the Quest? Are they bringing Firewall to Rift? Are we going to get this game on other platforms? Well, turns out no, we're not going to. But we found out what they were teasing. It wasn't just, they weren't just playing with our emotions. They are bringing a game, and that game is called Solaris Off-World Combat. And what it is a high-pace, action-oriented first-person shooter game coming for the Quest as well as the Rift S. What else did they say about it? Nothing. That's all there was. There was a logo and a title. That's all they gave us. It was. You see this guy here? That's what they gave us. They gave us a picture of that guy. So, yeah, definitely. You know, these devs are getting a reputation. They've been in the game for a while, and it seems like we've got some. They're going to be bringing us a new title to Quest. So. I hope to find more out about this game in the coming weeks and months, but I imagine it can't be far along, or else they would have shown us something more. Guys, Alex, were you surprised that these guys even came to the party with such little information?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not really that bothered about it right now because we've got no information whatsoever. And I know there's a lot of salt going on in the PSVR community right now because there was a new big patch for Firewall Zero Hour which broke matchmaking, and apparently they're still trying to fix that. And then they've announced that they've got a new game, which means that obviously all developers must obviously be working on this game. They can't possibly be working on more than one game at once. I don't know. It's just yeah, the PSVR community is not very happy about this announcement, obviously, because it's a game they feel that they're neglecting their current game by working on a second game. But I mean, development studios like Servios and other companies work on several games at once, so I don't really see that personally as an issue. But yeah, we'll just wait. We'll see what happens. I don't know when. I'm guessing it's probably next year, this game, or what it's going to be, or what sort of style. Because I'm not really a big multiplayer shooter guy anyway, so not much more to say on it, I don't think.
Yeah. The PSVR community is mad about Firewall right now. It wasn't matchmaking wasn't great to begin with, but when they released that Operation Nightfall big expansion that we reported on a few weeks ago, it completely broke the matchmaking. It's even worse after the patch than it was before. So not only did they not fix it, they made it worse. So they got mad. Everybody's mad about it that plays Firewall, and they're losing a lot of people, actually. People are stopping, they're not playing Firewall as much anymore. To be fair, they did recently release patch, I think it was 1.25, that they claim corrects a lot of the problems that came with Operation Nightfall. So, if you're a Firewall player, maybe go back in and check it out. I haven't been back in, so I can't testify to how good or bad it was, but they claim that they fixed a lot of that stuff, so give it a look. All right, speaking of PSVR, let's go into some PSVR news here. One big announcement that we got this week for PlayStation VR is that budget cuts is coming to PSVR. And this is a game that's notorious in PC VR. It was a game that they told us was coming forever. They gave us a great demo, but it took forever for the game to get here. So let's see how long it comes, how long before it comes to PSVR. I'm not sure. I don't think they gave a date for it or anything. All right, this next one I thought was really cool. Undead Citadel. We got a new trailer for Undead Citadel, and they listed this trailer specifically under PSVR. When they went into their PSVR segment of the Upload VR special, this was the first thing they showed was the Undead Citadel footage. And man, if this is PlayStation VR footage, it is absolutely gorgeous. This game looks awesome. I was already hyped for it before, now even more so. Roots, what did you think about the Undead Citadel footage?
Oh, it looks really good. I just like the gameplay and the way it looks. I'm kind of excited to see. I like how the eyes are glowing there. It kind of has a, I don't know, Dark Souls feel to me, but it looks cool.
Yeah, it looks like, puts me in the mind of Game of Thrones, like the White Walkers. When these things are coming at you in a big horde, that's what it looks like to me. And I mean, the vernacular and the environments all look from that period. So that's what it really puts me in the mind of. Alex, are you looking forward to Undead Citadel? I know it's coming to PC as well, not just PlayStation.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some footage of this before a couple of times, and I've always thought this looks really good. The melee combat looks good with the way that, because the skeletons, you can just go, rip straight through them and they just disintegrate into pieces, and it just looks really satisfying. I don't know if this is PSVR footage, then yeah, that looks pretty good. But I don't know. Everything I've seen of it looks really good. But the developers have said that it's going to take, they don't know when it's coming out. It's going to be one of those that takes as long as it needs to take. So by the time this comes out, it might be PS5 and PSVR 2 anyway. But it's it's definitely one that I'm interested in. It just looks really, the graphics look really good, the production value looks good, the sound was good as well. If you listen, when you listen to the trailer, you got some really cool voice acting, and it looked like the atmosphere with the rain coming down and the particle effects and everything looks really cool. So again, this is another one that's I'm interested in, but we don't know when it's coming, so it's kind of like wait and see when it comes out kind of thing.
Yeah, you're right. This could be a PS5 game. The PS5 development kits are already out there. People are already developing for it. And even if it's not what they're using for this, uh, it's complete, PS5 is backwards compatible with the original PSVR stuff. So I imagine developing on a PS4 dev kit uh, it isn't going to take much to translate it into PlayStation 5 if it does happen to be released a year from now. All right, more PSVR news. Perp Games, as usual, coming through with the physical releases. We already knew that Sirento VR was coming. They also announced that they're going to be releasing the physical version of Angry Birds VR Under Pressure, which is a movie tie-in to a movie that's coming out this summer in August, exclusively for PSVR. The game, and this is a co-op game. It looks like it's going to be an adventure game. It's not a basic Angry Birds game like Isle of Pigs where you're slingshotting the birds through the structures. This is an adventure game, like a story-driven adventure game, co-op. So one player will be in the headset, the other player will be playing along with them on the television. So it looks like it actually might be pretty cool. We got our first footage of that game during the upload special. Another new game, another new physical edition coming from Perp Games, Drunken Bar Fight, a game that I've never really been much interested in, but they're claiming that it always looks super janky to me. But they're claiming new areas to play in and new features, leaderboards, stuff like that. Coming with the deluxe edition, the physical edition from Perp Games. All right, so the next one Perp Games announced was really the big one for me, and that's Pixel Rip 1989 is getting a physical release. And I think that that's awesome. I think that this game should have been released on physical media from day one. It's such a good, polished game with such crossover appeal that I think it's a no-brainer to bring this one to retail stores. And not only are they bringing Pixel Rip 1989, but they announced that they're bringing Pixel Rip 1995 as well. So we're going to be getting both of those in stores near you soon. One more game, a fifth game released or announced by Perp Games to be getting a physical release, is a game that I swore I would never mention again on this show, because this isn't the first E3 that they've talked about this game. This isn't the second one. This is at least the third one, maybe the fourth. This game has been in development for so long. I'm not going to say its name, but the game which must not be named is getting a physical release from Perp Games when it releases, whenever that may be. They claim summer, but they've made a lot of claims. They did show some footage of the game which must not be named. The environments actually look pretty good. The characters, a little dated, like we said before, like we feared it may be a bit past its time. But they still claim that this game is on its way, and when it comes, we're going to get it in a disc form. So we'll see if we ever actually see release of that game. All right, moving on, DLC and updates. There was a lot of DLC and updates to existing games that was announced this week. Tons of it, actually. Vader Immortal updated is getting released for Oculus Rift and Oculus Rift S on June the 20th. 1 week, less than a week now, actually, just a few days away. So I know you guys have been waiting for this for quite some time.
It's been a month.
Oh, okay. Alex,
Sorry, I
uh,
was gonna say it's only been a month, so it's yeah.
yeah, it's been released for a month, but we've been wondering for a while when it was going to actually come to Rift. That's what I meant to say.
All right.
Um, yeah, looking forward to this one, I assume, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, both. I think we're both ready and waiting for this one. So.
Yeah,
Or, or sorry.
I was thinking that what I was saying to you guys yesterday that I know a lot of people are concerned that the graphics aren't going to be that it's going to be a Quest port over to the Rift, but I was remembering the trailer that was released that created all the fuss when people realized that it looked too good to be on a Quest. So we have seen Rift footage that isn't the same. So I think it's going to be really good. I think whatever people are worried about, I hope I'm right, but I don't think we're going to have to worry about it. So
Even if it is a straight one-to-one port with the foveated rendering removed, uh, I think any honest appraisal of it isn't going to be too disappointed. I think people would be surprised if they could see how nice it actually looks in the Quest. It's on par with a lot of PSVR games, so it's not bad at all. But yeah, any upgrade is going to make something that's already good even better. So looking forward to that one. Um, Falcon Age has been announced for PC VR. It's going to be an Epic Store exclusive. Alex, I know you said you were going to buy that one. Are you super excited for it, or are you just kind of wanting to check it out?
I want to check it out. It looks cool. You know, I just didn't seem to, despite obviously the things that he wasn't happy about, he played through it and he seemed to enjoy it overall. So I think once they've patched up all the little bits and bobs and taken all the feedback and got the actual bird working right, so you can another one where you can fist pump and walk with the bird and stuff. I'll get it. I'll check it out. I think it looks pretty good.
Cool, cool. All right, so no discussion of E3 and DLC would be complete without us talking about the one piece of DLC that we all came into this week waiting for the announcement for, and that is Borderlands 2 VR. We know that there's a ton of DLC coming to this game. All of the DLC from the flat version is supposed to be coming to Borderlands 2 VR. So we just assumed that they were going to announce that this week, right? Wrong. Nothing from these guys. I will say that they did release the new DLC, Commander Lilith and the Fight for Sanctuary. They released that for the flat version of Borderlands 2. So if you're a member of PlayStation Plus, PS Plus, not only is the Borderlands 2, the Handsome Collection, free this month, but so is that DLC, which is paid DLC, but for this month it's free. So if you're a subscriber to PS Plus, go on there right now while you're thinking about it and claim your free games and your free DLC, because in a few weeks it's not going to be free anymore. But anyway, no release date for the Borderlands 2 DLC. But Polish Paul VR with his eagle eye was watching the ESRB ratings, which he does. His channel is actually really good for that. He watches the ratings to see when games and DLC gets the rating, and you can tell by when a game gets its rating if it's going to be released soon or not. So normally when a game gets a rating, within 1 to 2 months, the game is released. And this week, the Borderlands 2 VR DLC did get rated in ESRB, but only the first 4 DLC packs. So it appears that we're not going to be getting all of it at once, which is like 30 more hours of content. So it makes sense to spread it out over time. So I don't begrudge them that. That's actually probably a good thing. But definitely be looking for it. It's coming. It's been rated. So I would say by the end of August, we'll have it. And I was starting to get worried because, like I said, nothing from these guys. And that includes no announcement of PC VR support for Borderlands 2 VR, which is something else we were all expecting this week because the exclusivity window expired back in May, back at the beginning of May. And we were all just kind of waiting around for the announcement. No better time than E3, right? Wrong. No announcement. But shout out to Polish Paul again. That guy comes through today. Just today, I saw on Polish Paul's Twitter, he put a snapshot, a screenshot up. Borderlands 2 VR has received an ESRB rating for PC version, the Windows version. So now it is 100% confirmed. Borderlands 2 VR is coming to PC, and it's going to be here soon. Just like the DLC I was talking about before, probably by the end of August, we're going to have this thing. Roots, I know you already have this on PSVR. Are you going to pick it up again on PC?
Depends. If it's not multiplayer, probably not, because there'd be no point. I'd rather play it with the aim. But if I can play with other people, absolutely.
Yeah, and I know, Alex, you've been waiting. You really have been waiting for a while on this one.
Yeah.
What do you think? You think we're going to get the multiplayer? They said they couldn't do it on the PlayStation version because of the bullet time mechanic that they've built into it, which makes no sense whatsoever. I thought that was just a cover for them having hardware limitations. Well, we're about to find out, aren't we?
I don't think they will, just because they know how much it'll piss PSVR players off to have it on one platform and not on the other. So unless they can do it on the PSVR as well, I don't think we'll see it.
Yeah, that's unfortunate too, because I'd love to play this game with you guys. And, we share games on Steam, because having a channel, it's hard for all of us to buy every game, so we kind of take turns with it. But if this game had multiplayer, I'm quite sure that instead of selling us one copy, they would sell us three. So really unfortunate if this one doesn't get co-op and multiplayer support. But, all right. Anything else on Borderlands you guys want to say?
No.
Nope. All right.
No, I think it'll be a big mistake if they don't go multiplayer, just because like with my aim controller, I've got joysticks. There's just no reason to play it on PC. I don't think so.
Right. It would be kind of a graphical thing, but the cell shaded look really comes through well in the PSVR. I don't think it's making a whole lot of graphical compromises, other than there is some foveated rendering, and there is quite a bit of aliasing in some areas as well. So you'll get a cleaner picture, but is that really worth spending the $40 or $50 they're going to ask for this thing? Probably not.
And not using my aim controller, which is amazing.
Right.
So.
All right, more DLC. We learned that I Expect You to Die has some more paid DLC coming called I Expect You to Die Seat of Power. So a new mission. It's going to release on July 16th. So fans of that game, be on the lookout. A new mission coming. Audica announced big updates, man. New songs, a new weapon set, new environments, and new leaderboard features have been announced. I don't know if they already launched this or they're going to launch it later this month, but they were talking about these updates as if they were already active. They also announced that there's a custom maps tool now in Audica, and there are various methods for you to go in there and create your own maps to the songs. And not only that, but they're having a contest on their Discord now. People can go on their Discord and submit their new maps and or enter the contest and then submit their maps. And they'll be picking out some winners and giving away prizes. So if you guys are into Audica, definitely check out the new features, and if you want to win some cool prizes, make some cool maps. Roots, I know you're really into Audica, or at least you were when it came out. Have you been in Audica lately? Have you seen any kind of these changes?
Yeah. It's still my my number one game of the year. I put it at the very top. They've got like different. You can spin your gun, you can throw it, and then like it spins out and it'll come back. They've added songs. I don't know. I was just talking to a friend of mine that bought my video card, and he's actually able to play Audica properly now. And he was saying that he can't. He's like normal. Once I guess it's normal, and then when he tries to go to advanced, it's just crazy. And I get it. It's one of those games that it just takes there's a learning curve, and once you get it, everything clicks. I know there's a misconception that you have to play it multiple times to learn it. I can't tell you how many times I've played a song brand new and I've nailed it every time. Yeah, you have those moments where you might miss a note here or there, but you're going to miss that in Beat Saber too. It's just such a good game, and I think a lot of people haven't given it a proper shot. And there is the thing that Alex says, and it's very legitimate. Like, if it's not your music jam, like if you don't like the music, then you might not like the game. But they are adding new songs that are more different than the techno stuff that they started in the beginning. And then the fact, like the mapping is really cool. If I'm not mistaken, you play your own music and you shoot and you do the things you want it to do, and then it brings it all into the map. So you're kind of creating. I mean, Beat Saber mapping is so fucking ridiculous. If you've ever looked into making a map, unless you're like dedicated, or I looked into it for about 10 minutes and I said, there's no fucking way I'm going to spend this much time figuring out how to do this. And Audica seems like they're making it really easy, and I'll be interested to see how cool of maps people make. So,
Alex, bunch of new features here. Is that going to be enough to get you back into Audica?
I'll check it out. Definitely. I've checked it out about 3 different times when they put updates. Like if they put a new song on, I've gone back in. I'll go through it and I'll play the song a few times, but I'm just not good enough to do the advanced, and I just don't want to keep playing a song over and over. Like with, it's just I'd have to spend a lot more time in it, I think, to get to the point where I can just do the advanced straight away. And I don't know, just something about it. It just doesn't click with me. I just don't think so. If I'm going to do that type of game, I know Bruce don't like me comparing it, but I just go with Beat Saber. So
yeah, you like what you like, you know what I mean? Like, you really like Beat Saber. I like Beat Saber. Once I played this one, I felt like I just kind of left it in the dust. But I kind of feel like I get it. So.
Yeah. A rhythm shooter it's a novel concept with a lot of potential, as we will discuss shortly.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's see. Any more DLC here? Oh yeah. Actually, one more thing. Arizona Sunshine. We finally got the release date for the damn DLC, and the damn DLC will come to us on August 27th. So another one for late August, which is summer, for those of you who don't know, not fall. But yeah, we've been waiting on this one for a while, or I have anyway, since it was announced. I love this. Like I said before, this is a big co-op game for me and my family. We all played through the original Arizona Sunshine together. We played through the other DLC. I forget what it's called, the other one, but we played through the Dead Man DLC together, and the damn DLC is supposed to be longer than the other one. So the other one was about an hour, so it would only cost $2 or $3. So I imagine this one will be at least an hour and a half, 2 hours. And yeah, we got the first footage of it. I assume that's what we're looking at here. And
no, that's just a let's play, I think.
No, I had the footage, and then I was told not to keep it. So.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, definitely looking forward to the damn DLC for quite some damn time. But
it's about damn
time.
Right.
Yeah, it's about damn time for the damn DLC. There's not enough damn games putting damn DLC out. It makes me pretty damn mad.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, all right. So that wraps up DLC. So we've got now old games. Well, not old games. New games that we already knew about. PSVR we touched on. Quest we touched on. DLC we touched on. And I can't impress this upon you enough. This isn't everything. These are just highlights. This is just the stuff I wanted to talk about. If you want to get it all, you got to go back to that the E3 coverage, and specifically the Upload VR E3 VR showcase, and go through it with a fine-tooth comb and dissect it, because there really is so much in there. This, again, is just the highlights. Go check it out for yourself. All right, so having talked about all that, there's one more category that we have yet to talk about, and that is new announcements. Games that we did not know were coming, or at least those of us who don't have psychic abilities. Games that we didn't know were coming, games that were announced this week that were a surprise and are coming to VR. So first of all, Vertigo Games, which I want to say this, watching the upload thing, it's like every other video, every other feature they had on that thing, there was somebody from Vertigo Games in it. These guys are everywhere. They must have 10 different projects they've been working on. So definitely a surprise. Vertigo Games definitely moving up the ladder in the hierarchy of VR developers. But they announced their big game, After the Fall, which is a post-apocalyptic zombie, I say in quotation marks, zombie shooter. It's survival co-op game, kind of like Fallout-esque, but only co-op. It takes place in Los Angeles, which is kind of ironic because all of the footage of the game shows a frozen wasteland. I guess it's nuclear winter or whatever. Yeah, this was a big surprise. They say it's going to have a role-playing game structure, and they say it's been in development for over a year and a half. Alex, what did you think about After the Fall?
I didn't think much because there wasn't really much to show, but I did listen to Tested, and they said that they tried a demo of this actually at E3, and I think it was Norm or Jeremy was saying that it was very arcadey. It was like with Arizona Sunshine, it's kind of you have to pick your shots and conserve your ammo. Apparently with this you could just go full ham and just shoot, and then when the enemies die, they literally fall to the ground and all ammo like comes spewing out of the bodies and stuff, like very arcade style. And then you just walk over the ammo and you automatically collect it. You don't have to pick anything up. So it sounds like it's a very different approach to Arizona Sunshine. It worries me a little bit. I don't know. I just don't really know enough about it. But from what that kind of put me off it more than anything, if I'm honest. I would have preferred Arizona Sunshine style survival, sort of picky shots, being more conservative rather than just, all out, just shoot, walk over shit, pick it up automatically, shoot, auto reload and all that crap. But it's a different type of game, so some people are going to like it, some people aren't.
Right, yeah, see, I didn't hear this stuff from Tested. I was kind of assuming that this was going to be Arizona Sunshine style gameplay.
Me too. Yeah, I thought it was.
With a role-playing game aspect added into it. So yeah, it is kind of disheartening if this is just going to be a blaster, which, I will say this, we shouldn't judge a game until we play it, because games are different for everyone. And I can't tell you how many times I've played a game that everyone else is crapping on and ended up liking it. So we'll hold reserved judgment on this.
Yeah, I mean, we've got no footage of it or anything, so we don't know.
Right, and as long as they've been developing it and it coming from Vertigo Games, I think we can at least give them the benefit of the doubt until we have more info. Roots, what did you think about After the Fall?
Same thing. There's not much to it. I do think it's cool that they right off the bat show you that there's 4 players, multiplayer, which a lot of games like this don't have. Usually it's 2. Maybe 3. So to be able to have 4 kind of makes me interested to see how they're going to do that and how it will shape up. I'm not so put off by the arcadey stuff. Like, it's like Alex said, it's a different type of game. And, how many times have you been at the arcade and you've been playing like the Jurassic World or whatever it is, and those kind of games, to be able to play them in VR, which a lot of arcades are doing, I well would love an arcadey type of game if it's done right. It could be way better than Arizona Sunshine the way it was done, but we just don't know. So it'll be interesting to see how it shapes out.
Yeah, interesting to note. There actually is an Arizona Sunshine location-based arcade game. So
Really?
maybe they're drawing off of their experience from that game and putting it into this one.
It's 2020 as well. I don't know if you said that, but it's not coming this year.
All right. Well, so by the time we get this, it'll at least be 2 years in development. So I expect it to be a solid game, even if it is arcade style gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Evasion had arcade style gameplay, and it was absolutely.
It's not necessarily a bad thing. It was just for some reason I got it in my head Arizona Sunshine style, like a more of an expansion. But obviously it's not. It's a completely different game. So.
Okay. Anything else on this one, guys?
No.
All right. All right. The next announcement that we were subject to that we want to talk about is Budget Cuts 2. It's called Mission Insolvency. All right, so this is a sequel to Budget Cuts, obviously, and it's not only being developed by Neat Corporation, but it's a collaboration with Fast Travel Games, who brought us Apex Construct. So this apparently is said to be a massive expansion of Budget Cuts. I think one of the main criticisms of Budget Cuts is that it's not very big. It wasn't long enough. The gameplay wasn't very varied. It was just kind of the same thing, and before you know it was over. Well, apparently this is addressing those complaints by putting you in the outside world. You're no longer confined to an office building, but now you're trying to save the world. And apparently there's a lot more weapons. There's a lot more different aspects to the gameplay than there was before. And this is going to release next year. Roots, did you play Budget Cuts 1? And if so, are you looking forward to the sequel?
I did play it actually, and I want to go back into it and finish it, especially now that I got a 2080, because I've heard some people say it doesn't play very well, and it played really well for me on my 1070, so I want to see what it looks like cranked up to 1.5 and just test my theory, which I think is more of a processor issue for some people, but I like the varied game style. There's just so much. There's a lot of difference, and just seeing him use a bow and arrow, it did get kind of old throwing those little knives. It was cool for a little bit, but after a while, it's the same thing. So.
Yeah, it was kind of like clockwork in my head. I saw that Fast Travel was helping them with this, and literally as I'm thinking to myself, well, I wonder if there's going to be archery. It pops up on the screen. There's the archery. It's like, oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, this is an odd one to me. I never played Budget Cuts, but it was weird because everyone loved the demo to this game. And then when the full one was released, well, not everybody, but most people really complained a lot about it. And I don't know if it was a case of the high price tag, raising everyone's expectations, but it seems like this got a lot of mixed reviews, and it was a complete turnaround from the demo. Alex, have you played Budget Cuts? What do you think about this sequel footage that we're getting here?
Yeah, I've played through the first one. It did have problems with me, but I've got an old CPU, which is why I said to Roots before that I think it's CPU bound more than GPU bound. But yeah, I was very mixed on Budget Cuts. He's good in places, but I thought the level design was kind of poor in places. The knife throwing didn't work very well on the Rift. I know Justin Mainfan said that it worked fine on the Vive, so I think that was a Rift issue. Just couldn't throw. Every time I tried throwing him, it go in the ground, so I ended up just teleporting behind him and just stabbing them with it. So the fact that they've got a bow and arrow in this one is a good thing for me, because I think that's something that I'd rather use than messing about with the knives. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be bigger. Obviously, there's sections when you're on a train, which I think could be cool in VR. Being on a train, going on top of a train. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm not like really excited for it, but I'm interested in it.
Yeah, I think it definitely. It looks like they're trying to address a lot of the criticisms of the first game. It looks like it's a much bigger game than the first one. So I know that they said it's going to be released next year, or this year. I'm sorry, this year. I think it's pretty close to done. They had a playable demo during E3 week. I know Nathy reported on it that he got to play it, and I think it was pretty positive his reaction to it. So yeah, it looks cool. I think I didn't play the first one, but I think this one looks much cool. When I look at the first one, it kind of seems bland to me, like like I said before, a lot of the same thing over and over again. This looks definitely like a better, higher quality title to me. So maybe we'll give this one a shot.
Let me ask you this. Is there any part of you that wants to go in and try Budget Cuts 1? Because you do have access to it. I'm just curious why you just never tried it, or you didn't want to try it, or it just didn't appeal to you?
Well, I didn't play the demo. I did know here that everyone was raving about it. This was, I think the demo had released before I even had PCVR. And then Budget Cuts came out a couple of months after I got my VR. But no, it was a $30 game, and it got a lot of mixed reviews. So I was just kind of like, eh. But yeah, now you're right. I have access to it now since we're sharing libraries. So maybe I will give it a shot. If you say it's worth trying, maybe I'll try it out.
I think it's definitely worth trying. I mean, whether you'll finish the game or think it's the best game next to sliced bread, I don't know that that's the case, but I know that just the sneaking around and there are some pretty cool elements, and there is puzzle solving. You got different cards you have to find and different things you got to do, and the way that you teleport around and you can like shoot yourself up in the vents, and there is uniqueness to this game, and the tools that they have. I definitely think it's a game that I would say if you never try it, you're missing out on an experience to at least check it out for sure.
Okay, well, I'll put that one down as another one on the mile-long list of stuff I need to try out. It gets longer every day. Seems like I play one and three more pop up. But all right, we'll definitely give it a look. If for no other reason than to get some backstory and some context for the sequel, which I do legitimately think looks cool. So,
yeah.
All right, one more game. That we're going to feature and talk about on our show here. The last one of all of the big mishmash of news we got from E3 week. And this is a big one, folks. And I know a lot of people are crapping on it, but man, I think it looks awesome. And that's Pistol Whip from Cloudhead Games. They tried to explain what this game is. And before we get started, let me shout out Ginger Damas over there, because just last week we were on this very program, and I asked him what he had learned about the upcoming announcement from Cloudhead Games, and what he said was, quote, "I think that this is going to be something in the vein of Beat Saber meets Super Hot with a John Wick style aesthetic." That was a paraphrase, but it was something to that effect. But here we are. The upload special comes out, and right there are the developers saying exactly what Alex said on our show last week. So I asked him point blank, man, did you read that somewhere? And I'll ask him here, Alex, did you read that somewhere?
No.
Oh.
I just pieced it all together, and I'm fucking awesome. So
I prefer the name Nostradamus Ginger. Just throwing that out there. But go ahead.
All right.
Yeah, I'll let the community decide what they want to call me. But awesome, cool guy, whatever you want to call me.
All right. So choice A, Ginger Damas. Choice B, Nostradamus Ginger, or choice C, whatever you guys want to call him. Shithead, just whatever.
Ginger twat.
Yeah. Ginger twatus.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, This game looks awesome. This looks like an awesome concept. Uh, this was basically a sizzle reel, uh, flashing back and forth between pre-alpha footage and developer interviews. They put the whole development team to task here, trying to describe what this game is, and they all struggled. Basically, they all came to the point at the end of the thing where they said, "You just have to play it." And I think very much that this is going to be one of those games that you just have to play. It's going to all be about the gameplay. They describe it as a rhythm first-person shooter bullet hell runner, which I think is pretty much what it's going to be. You're going to be running through here, blasting away enemies to the beat. Um, and a lot of people are complaining about the visual style of it, but uh, I think that this game is so heavily reliant on timing and gameplay that you can't be bogging down your system with high texture environments and graphics. If that were to happen and you start to get hitches in the flow of the game, then it's going to basically throw a monkey wrench into the gears and the whole thing would fall apart. This game has to run smoothly, so I think that above all, that explains the low texture graphics. But I don't think at all that this is going to be a downside. I think it's going to look beautiful in VR. What do you think, Alex, about the way this looks and how do you think this is going to be a good title?
I think there's a critical part missing to this, which is the music, because obviously this is centered around the music, and I don't know if it was a copyright issue, but they didn't really play much of the music in the footage. So this game is it's kind of super hot style, very simplistic polygons, but it's going to have this. I've been listening to the SoundCloud for this Caliban or Caliban, I can't remember. Caliban records, and there's some really banging, tracks on there. So when I was listening to it, I was kind of imagining myself in being in VR with a gun, and music's pumping and the levels are changing and pulsating to the music, and you're shooting, and yeah, I think it's going to be really badass, and it's going to feel really cool. I don't know how many levels or songs there's going to be. That could be one thing, maybe how much replayability it's going to have. But I think it's definitely going to be something I'll pick up and probably put a couple of hours into at least.
Yeah, I think that they're either going to nail it here or they're going to completely shit the bed. I think that this is an outstanding concept. I think if they get this right, this could be one of the best games that we have in VR. Very replayable, arcade style. This is the type of game you can pick up and play for 15 minutes and put it back down. Uh, Not so much story driven, which I'm sure there will be some kind of story behind it. But I think this is all about the gameplay. I don't think there's any proper way to describe uh, how it feels to play this game. It's just going to be one of those things that you have to try. Hopefully, there will be a demo for this so that people can play it for themselves and see how it is. But yeah, I think it's going to be great. Most likely, Cloudhead Games is a very good, talented group of developers, and I was just talking to someone a month or two ago about the promise of VR shooters as a genre, and how if someone plays with it a little bit, that it could really make a transcendent crossover game that everyone wants to play. Roots, what did you think about Pistol Whip?
First off, I had no idea this game even existed. It came out of nowhere for me. I was really surprised. I love bullet hell games. This looks really amazing, and I love rhythm games. So, and as far as like the graphics and stuff, like we said earlier, like this is pre-alpha footage, and Super Hot has very basic graphics, and people just seriously, and this is not even just VR gaming, but just in general across the board in this world right now, need to just fucking chill out, dude. Like, it just seems so like everybody wants to jump on everything right off the bat and say, man, this is shit. And it's just weird to me. I just let's get let's get a little bit further in production before we start to trash games. I think that the concept, like Wes said, is actually very unique. And again, like we were saying, the theme of this episode really is just how they're pushing the boundaries in mechanics in these games, and just getting very unique with game style, and I think it's amazing. So
I think that the attitude of VR gamers is starting to change. I mean, just a year ago, or a little less even than a year ago, we all kind of understood that graphics aren't everything. And to hear people criticize pre-alpha footage based on graphics, this is the type of shit that flat gamers say. When they look at VR, they look at VR games and say, man, look at those shit graphics. And we all know, like, it's so much different when you get in the headset. You got to get in the headset to see it. And now we see these people that just a year ago were saying graphics aren't everything, now criticizing games over graphics. And it just blows my mind. Are we losing our minds, people? Come on. This game looks better than Superhot graphically. What the hell, man? Superhot's legendary, great VR game.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, I don't get it sometimes. People are just fucked up, you know.
I think
people,
they just like to bitch.
Yeah, obviously, people just like to bitch. They're spoiled, is what it is. We've got all these new games now, and all these, laundry list of new games coming. Now people decided they're going to be critics. Everybody has to be a critic now. And just back to the E3 in general, and the upload thing specifically. Whenever have we had any kind of press event with even nearly as much as this gave us? Never have we had any single event with this much news in it, and all people want to do is shit on it. I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
Yeah, me neither.
All right. Well, that is going to wrap the new game segment. Now, like I said a moment ago, people, this is just the stuff that we wanted to talk about. It's only a fraction of what they gave us. I got a little list here, some of the stuff we didn't talk about. The Wizards, Dark Times, Meat Fortress, the update to Horseshoes, Hot Dogs, and Hand Grenades. We had a new game from Fast Travel Games called The Curious Tale of the Stolen Pets. There's the new Doctor Who game that's getting ready to come out that looked really cool. Wolf and Wood putting a new game out, a sandbox game called Hotel R&R. We got new footage of Boneworks. We got a new trailer from Soul Keeper, which apparently is having a version 2 being released very soon. Garden of the Sea, we got a little featurette on with a lot of new information about Garden of the Sea. Garden of the Sea. Disciples of Dawn. Stone Puck Studios announced that they're bringing, Primordian out of early access now. The third part of the game is being added in. That game is going to be complete. And they gave us a teaser trailer for Disciples of Dawn that looked really cool. Abe, those of you who are familiar with Abe, they gave us some more information on the sequel to that, which is going to be a VR short film along with, there was a whole package of different media that new Abe content was going to be released across. So it's more of a package than just a one-shot deal with that. And that's just the name of a few. That was just a few I jotted down here that we didn't even get to, and there's more even still. So definitely do your own homework. Watch the upload video if you haven't already. Alex, out of all this stuff I mentioned or stuff that I didn't mention, is there anything else that you would like to talk about coming out of E3 week?
Yeah, there's just a couple that I wanted to quickly mention that I don't know if people spotted maybe. Well, the one was played right at the beginning before it even officially began, called Mare, which was like a little trailer. It kind of flew by, what part of the countdown. And when I looked into it, this game looks really cool. It's been in development since 2016. It's one of the Last Guardian artists who's developing it, and you can kind of see that in the art style. It's going to be like a very artsy you're following the journey of this young girl, and you can control this little mechanical bird, and you do it all with your gaze. So where you look, the girl goes or the mechanical bird goes. And yeah, we don't know much more about that, but it's apparently coming this fall. So, this is another fall release, which I didn't know anything about until it's been in development for 3 years, and I didn't even know anything about it. It looks really cool. So, yeah, you guys, did you spot this one, or did it fly under your radar as well?
Yeah,
Wes?
yeah. I had no idea that this one was coming until you posted it in the Discord last week. But yeah, I think it definitely looks cool. It looks like a very story-driven game, which I love. And yeah, I'm looking forward to checking it out.
Is it a platformer? It kind of looks like a platformer, huh? Or no?
No, you control it with your gaze apparently. So
Oh,
I think,
okay.
do you know, like what's that ball game? Arcus Pass.
Mhm.
I think
Oh,
I think it's gonna be like that, where you look the characters go, or where you look the bird flies.
Hmm.
But I think it's definitely going to be very cinematic and artsy, and I think it looks cool. So I wanted to include it in the list.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
the other one was Rogan, which we'd found out about before, and we saw a little trailer, but this big trailer that they put up really surprised me with the quality, just the level of graphics, the voice acting, just the overall production value of the actual trailer itself. If you go to the website, the website's really well made. It's really cool. So I don't know who these developers are. I don't know what other games they've made, but this has kind of flown up on my list of games that I'm, looking forward to. It's like a thief, basically. Thief. I can't speak. Thief uh, game. Like the old thief games where you have to stay in the shadows and steal keys and stuff, but with a really cool sort of medieval art style. And yeah, it looks like it's going to be very story driven, very high production value, high quality graphics. It's definitely the other thing is, if you go onto the Steam website, it says July for the release date, but I
Hmm.
don't know if that's just a placeholder or whether that's actually coming out next month. But yeah, keep an eye on it. Yeah, it's got a
Yeah.
walkie. Well, it's got a walkie-talkie, but it's in medieval times. It's quite
Yeah.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah, we've known about this one for a while, and I thought it looked cool before, but definitely much more polish on it now. This is a lot better trailer than the other one that came out a few months ago. Um, I specifically remember that first trailer came out around the time that Elon Musk was on the Joe Rogan Experience, because we were watching Anthony on VR 365, and people kept telling him in the comments to talk about Rogan, talk about Rogan, talk about Rogan, and he's like, I already talked about him. Elon Musk interview was really cool, and
Hmm.
yeah, so I remember specifically that it was around that time that the first trailer got released. And yeah, what a difference, man! Looking at this new trailer, I had no idea that this female character was even part of it, but apparently this is the main character in the thing.
I think
And
you
the
play. I think you play a guy called Rogan, and she is hired you to clear her name because she's been set up or something. So I don't know if you
Hmm.
actually play as her at any point of the game. But yeah,
Okay,
she's obviously in the trailer a lot, so she's probably one of the main characters. But yeah, there's just the because when you get indie developers, when they try and do humans, they tend to look a bit janky. But this looks really like AAA level character models, her face and everything looks really good. So these guys, I don't know who they are, but they're talented, even just on an art style wise, at least they're definitely talented.
yeah, they can make a good trailer. So
Yeah, that's true.
they've got my interest. So
Hmm.
uh, definitely another one for the list to look forward to. July, not that long from now. All right, Roots, did I miss anything that you wanted to talk about?
No, I was just gonna. It does look pretty cool. That's pretty much it. I agree with everything you guys say. So.
All right, a couple of the ones that I'll just mention really quickly. I don't want to talk about. We've gone too long already. The Wizards Dark Times, which I thought at first was going to be just DLC, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be its own game. It's an expansion. I think it's in the same built in the same engine, but I think this is its own game. Really, really cool trailer. Looks like it has a very dark tone, and you know, I didn't really play the first Wizards game, but this looks like something very different, very dark, and you guys know I love that sort of shit. So, looking forward to that one for sure. Look at that. Look how awesome that is. All right. The other thing I wanted to talk about, let's see here, was the Soulkeeper VR. Yeah, if you think Asgard's Wrath looks too arcadey, like we were talking about earlier, the Soulkeeper VR showed a new trailer, and apparently this game has been out in early access for a while now, but they're putting a whole new version of it out, and this looks incredible. I mean, this looks like the Skyrim game that we all never got. There's so many different facets to the gameplay as you watch through this trailer. There's footage of you riding a horse. There's footage of you riding a dragon, melee combat, and absolutely stunning visuals for such a small development team. I mean, it's not perfect. Everything has its flaws, but this looks very interesting to me. And even though it got mixed reviews in the earlier version, I'm interested to see what people think about this version, because if, like I said before, if Asgard's Wrath is too arcadey, this does not look arcadey. This looks like realism to me. It looks like a fantasy game with realistic gameplay, and definitely super excited to see how this turns out. Now, look at this. Tell me that doesn't put you in the mind of Daenerys blowing King's Landing all to hell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Absolutely wonderful.
Turns me on.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. This looks just like King's Landing. Oh, it's the dragon. Everybody run. Ah! Why, Daenerys? Why? All right. So that's going to wrap it with our coverage of E3 week. If there's anything we left out, be sure to leave a comment down below. Or if you want our opinion on something specific, look at that witch there, how evil she looks. If you want our opinion on something specific, join the Discord, man. We're in there all the time talking about this crap nonstop all day long, every day. So definitely, if there's something specific that we didn't talk about, you want our opinion about, just ask. We're available. All right, so that brings us to everybody's favorite segment, the personal game review, where we all pick a game that we're going to review this week in a separate video, but we're going to start the conversation here, talk a little bit about the game, why we picked it, and what we like about it. Let's see here. We didn't even determine an order this week, did we, Alex? Who's going?
We'll start with Arizona Sunshine first. So that's
okay. So that's me. So,
yeah.
Okay. So my game, as Alex just told you, is going to be Arizona Sunshine, game we've already talked about a couple of times on this episode, and a game I've talked about many times before in many different places. You know, I'd forgotten that I'd chosen this game when I was talking about it earlier. I probably would have just shut up at that point. But this is a staple in my household. We play this game all the time. This is a zombie first-person shooter. Very heavy on the shooter aspect of it. There's not a whole lot going on beyond that, but it's a story-driven campaign where you're trying to basically find other living people. You start out in an outdoor environment, and the environments vary slightly as you go through the game. There is a bit of scavenging, but you're basically just looking for more ammo and weapons. The big drawing, the big thing that draws about this game is the gameplay. It's not the best graphically looking game, but it feels really good when you shoot the guns in this game. They're accurate, they sound good, and what really keeps me coming back into this game is the co-op. It's a slow-paced game. The zombies don't run; they walk slowly at you, You can normally see them coming from a mile away. And this is a great game to take that person who you may have already given a demo, put them in a seated VR experience using a gamepad. If you want to graduate them to locomotion, or if you're on the PlayStation VR and you want to teach them how to use move controllers for locomotion, which isn't the easiest thing to learn, especially for someone who isn't already a gamer. This game is perfect for it because not only is it a load of fun to play through the story, it's a fairly long game. I mean, it's what, 4 or 5 hours long campaign, and it also has a horde mode, but it's just fun enough to keep you playing through it. By the time you and your newbie friend get through it, they're going to be a veteran VR game player. So a lot of fun this game. Available on all platforms: Oculus, Steam VR, Viveport, PlayStation VR. Coming to Oculus Quest, as we reported earlier. One of the most iconic games in VR, and deservedly so, in my opinion. Alex, you got anything you want to say about Arizona Sunshine?
No, I think you've said it already. So I think we'll go into more depth on the review, obviously. But yeah, it's a great game. It's an old game, but it's definitely one to keep an eye out for, maybe on a sale and pick up. And I had a lot of fun with it, more fun than I expected. So it's worth you checking out, I think.
Okay, all right. So yeah, you're right. We'll talk more about it and go a little more in depth in the long form review discussion, which will be published on Tuesday. So be looking out for that on Tuesday. So Alex, do you want to go next, or you want Roots to go next?
I can go next, yeah. And my game, which we'll put on Wednesday, will be Archangel, which is another older game, 2017, I think this came out. We're just going to cover the single player aspect of this because there is the multiplayer component which came out for free, which none of us really tried, but this is the single player side of things. And yeah, this game is really cool. It makes a really good first impression. So when you first start the game, you start on this train. You can pick 2 different people to play. I picked the black guy. I think you guys picked the same one. And you sit on there, and you've got your kid who's sat with you, and the graphics look really nice, on the train, and he pulls this hologram thing up and shows you this project he's been working on. And then you get to the docking station, and there's this massive mech, like Pacific Rim height sort of mech that you can look up, and it's all really impressive. And then you get in there, and you can move your arms around, and as you're moving your arms about, your mech arms are moving around, and it's all top quality stuff. But ultimately, this game is a rail shooter, so you don't really move around the world. You just sit in the mech, you control, shoot. You have like a shield, so you can block with the shield, and there's kind of some gameplay to it where you've got to flip between different types of weapons, missiles, machine guns. Graphically, it's impressive to start off with, but I say once you get out to the real world and you're in the mech, it kind of drops down a little bit compared to the introduction. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I played through it. I think it's £15. So I'd say probably maybe wait for it to drop a little bit because it is an older game, unless you really like rail shooters. But yeah, Roots, if you've played this one, what did you think?
Oh, I thought it was cool. I really liked the beginning, and I think it set the pace for a very emotionally getting you vested in the story, and so I even just the whole aspect of the story is really intriguing. So yeah, but so we'll probably talk more about it when we do we said Wednesday, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
we'll do
yes,
Wednesday.
Wednesday for the long form review discussion of Archangel. It really is a solid title, and it does go on sale a lot. I think I paid $7 for it on the PlayStation Store.
Yeah, I played similar sort of money, so you can get it cheap if you keep an eye out.
So stay tuned Wednesday, and we will talk much more in depth about the single player campaign of Archangel. All right, so that leaves you, Roots, buddy, for Thursday's game. What are we going to be talking about Thursday?
All right, so my choice was Carly and the Reaper Band. As you can see, I chose Nathan and Mike's video, just because like they had a lot of fun with it, and this game it's designed to be a really cool local a game to play with somebody outside of VR. And so essentially, you got one person inside the VR that's like a ghost type of person, and then the person outside is controlling the actual platformer person, and it's just such a cool, unique game to do. Like, there's so many obstacles that you use. Like, it kind of starts out slow, where you're kind of okay. You make a little platform level for you guy to go across, and it gets you going along the way, and adds speed and just different aspects like a torch, and it's really cool. Now this game came out in 2018 by Odd Raven Studios. It goes for $20 on Steam, which I think I paid half. I wouldn't pay the full price for it, but it's just really a very, very unique, solid platformer that I think would be really cool to check out. Now, they do have a mode where you can play by yourself, and I believe you tried that, Alex. I never tried that. What was that like?
Yeah, they added it afterwards because obviously not everyone's got someone they can play with. So, because I don't think this has got. Is it just local multiplayer, or can you play it online? I don't know.
No, it's got to be local.
See, that's what I was wondering, because I thought that they added in online multiplayer to this.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't have the game, so I'm not sure. If you want to know the answer to this question and more, tune in on Thursday, because I'll find out, and we'll have a definitive answer on that when we do the review.
Yeah, I mean, I'll quickly just say that you can play it single player if you use the touch controllers as a gamepad while you're moving your hands around. The problem is that as the game gets more difficult, it becomes very tricky, because you get like timed events where you've got platforms that disappear, and you've got to try and move the platform with your hand whilst trying to control the character. And after a while, it just got too frustrating. I'll talk more about it in the review, because I've got some suggestions for the developer actually, which might help with that. But yeah, we'll go. I'm sorry if we feel like we're rushing it a little bit. We've been running a bit long today, and it's like nearly 4 o'clock in the morning for me. So we do need to wrap this up a little bit. But yeah, we're going to go into detail on these reviews more separately. So keep an eye out for this one on Thursday, and maybe Wes, you might have a chance to check it out as well by then.
Yeah, perhaps.
Also, I don't know if we mentioned what our Monday topic will be for the six things.
Oh, we have not yet.
Should we
Alex,
keep it a secret?
Oh, well, yeah, we could do that. Make it a surprise. Everyone loves a surprise.
Yeah, we'll just drop it on Monday and see. But it's some free stuff, so everyone can try this stuff out we're going to talk about, which is cool.
Yeah. So there you go. Just know that the Monday show is coming as scheduled this week. You guys may actually get this video earlier than the scheduled Sunday slot. You may be watching this on Saturday. That's just an anomaly because we're recording early this week due to scheduling conflicts. Sunday is still our slot for this show. But rest assured, everything else is going to go off on time. The Monday show will be on Monday. The reviews will be on Tuesday through Thursday. And yeah, another week full of content coming your way from the Virtual Strangers.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to say before we go?
Nope.
No.
Oh. All right. Well, once again, as always, I want to thank everybody for watching. If you like what you see here, be sure to hit that like button. And please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell as well. So for Wes, I'm sorry, not for Wes, I'm Wes. For Roots and Alex, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Later. Bye.
Later.